I think I've got it.
What, the man flu?
No, I've really got it. I've come down with gold fever. Let's go find the shiny nuggets. It's gold finding time. Let's go. Yay! Yes, people, gold fever is real. And we're back out here in the goldfields just west of Warwick. Private property this time. But you probably will recognise some of the surroundings because we have been here before and it was shown in a previous video. But since then, things have changed a little bit and it's now private property. So we're out here on the hunt for gold for the next 4 days. So fingers crossed we can find a little bit of the shiny stuff this time around. So we've come up on top of the hill. Mandy's just talking to the locals to see if we've found where the gold is. Any gold up this way? Moo! So as soon as we pulled up here, before we even got the detectors out, a few spectators have showed up, but absolutely beautiful day. Could not get any better to get up here and hopefully get on the gold. Let's see how we go. A couple days of swinging detectors, probably a day down in the creek panning, and bought a little river sluice to give a go. Even though there's no water running, we'll just see how we go. And it's all part of the fun of gold fever. Excuse me, have you seen any gold up here? Over there, is it? Over that way. Righto, well that's where we're going to start. Thanks for the heads up. What about you? Have you seen any gold over here? No. Have any of yous seen the gold? Excuse me, have you seen the gold? It feels like we are being watched. Looks like we're going to have to find it ourselves. Oh, we'll get them out and start swinging. Oh, you're still here. Hello. You like that? You like that? So the gear we're using for our learning curve in prospecting, as you've seen in a previous video, we've got the Gold Monster VLF machine, but it will find gold, but it's just not designed to go as deep and penetrate the ground as your proper gold detectors. So we have lashed out and bought one of the cheaper PI, pulse induction metal detector, the Algo Force 1500. Still learning to use it, but after the first hour of swinging it around up here on the hill, in amongst all these rocks and everything, which is a bit of a battle with the bigger coil on it, we have managed to find quite a few projectiles again. Being up on the top of the hill behind the old World War I rifle range. And there's another bullet. Big strong target like that. This is a great machine to use. Fairly basic, fairly easy to use and set up all the settings. And so far so good. But for a hobby where you're out in the fresh air, beautiful sunshine, when the weather's nice, with the chance of never knowing what you're going to find. Oh, I love it. It's a great hobby, I reckon. It's not hard for the hours to fly by and all of a sudden it's midday and running into the afternoon, and then you're sitting back around the fire with a beer, hopefully talking about the gold that we found for the day. We'll keep going. We might change locations because up here with all the rocks, the sticks, the prickly pear, it's a bit hard to detect. And just personally, after doing a lot of research on the type of ground where you find gold, I think there's just not the right type of soils and rocks where you may find gold. So to improve our chances, we're going to go to another location. After this couple of hours of bouncing around the rocks and the cows, we're going to go and try somewhere else. We've come another probably a kilometre or two from where we were up on the hill down into this gully. I'm going to have a look around here for the next hour or so. But what I like about this is we've found a couple of little bits of quartz laying around, this white quartz. Usually where there's quartz there could be gold, so I'm looking at the ground conditions. Plus over here in this bit of a washout, there's a wash layer down in there. Might have a look around there and just see, do a bit of a test pan and just see what we can find. All right, here we go. Come on, Algo Force. The E1500. Settings are good from where we were up there. It's nowhere near the mineralisation down here from what we had up on the hill. We can turn the sensitivity up a little bit, because you wouldn't have the hot rocks and everything that we had back up on the hill. So because this detector is very good on small gold and real fine gold, that's probably what we're looking for in a gully like this. At least we're not finding any bullets. Doesn't like the steel cap boots. Bit of wire. That'll do it. I was just about to say there's not a lot of junk in here, but then you go. It depends what's upstream from here too. If there was anything like an old quartz reef or something where it may wash down over lots of years, there might be nothing up there. There might be no gold in here. So. Or if there is any gold in here, it's micro gold, stuff that you'd find in a pan, but maybe not big enough for a detector. Especially with this, the Coiltech 14x9 elliptical coil. It's very sensitive to small gold. That's why we got this one, to try and cover a bit more ground, get a bit more depth and a bit more sensitivity. But nothing so far. Time to get the pan, try a bit of that wash and see if there's any real fine gold in amongst that wash. There's a little bit of water to pan, so we'll give it a crack. Now there's no bedrock in here, but I can feel anyway. We're just going to loosen up some of this so we can pan it out. It's very clayey. Very clayey. Find some water and give that a go. It's clayey but sandy and gravelly at the same time, so you just never know. A few specks in there. And look what's in the bottom there, a bit of quartz, a bit of white quartz. Now there's quartz, there's gold. So I'm told, or maybe I'm just too old. There's more quartz, it's pure white. I don't think so. Ain't no gold in this creek. Gully. There's lots of ironstone. Heavy. And this is it, yes or no? At this stage, I'd say it's more no than yes. Nothing but sand. Oh well, at least we know. Instead of trying to find a heap of good material to pan out, one good test pan and you sort of got an idea if there's any gold here or not, but there's not one speck in there. If we were real keen, we'd do another pan from somewhere different it's not looking promising in this creek. So I think we'll leave the panning for down in Reedy Creek. Tomorrow we'll get serious with the pans. We've also got the little river sluice to give a go. There's no running water for the river sluice to work, but we'll have a solution with a bucket to use as a tank, and hopefully that's enough water to be sluicing and find some tiny little specks of gold. Well, after 4 or 5 hours on the detectors, no gold today. Heap of projectiles, bits of wire, old nails, and seen some new country, so we've got a bit more of an idea and a game plan for tomorrow. So it's back to the fire. Been busy on the chainsaw, cut plenty of firewood. But one thing I want to show you is 20 bucks on Amazon is this new toy that I got. Just for moving, picking up and moving your logs in the fire. Have a go at this. You can pick them up, you can place them without getting your shovel in the fire. Hey, you probably know by now I like me toys, but this thing here, 20 bucks, that's a great little investment. Even though I'm not going to get rid of the shovel, still need the shovel when you're working around the fire. But that toy there is great. Anyway, that's it for today. Time to enjoy this and the serenity. Well, the next morning, and the wind chill factor is freezing. It's nearly too cold to find gold. But come down to the creek here today. Looks like an awesome little spot, plenty of bedrock. And we're going to get down in there. We're going to leave the detectors right where they are for the time being. And we're going to get down in there and try and find some shiny stuff in amongst the bedrock. There's a little bit of water there. No running water for the sluice, so we've got another plan there to try that out. Mandy's down in there, already keen to find some. We'll get down in there, find a decent chunk of rock, try and scratch out all the nooks and crannies, and hopefully that's where the gold is settled every time the creek runs. So let's see how we go. Mandy's keen as. We'll get a bit of a production line going here and just see what we can find if you don't fall in. You don't want to fall in today because it's too cold.
I know.
I've got a little puddle of water here and another bigger puddle over further. That's lots of good looking material. It's a bit hard to know where to start, but there's a big chunk of bedrock right here underneath all this old fence and stuff. And right down in there. It's a big low spot. We'll chase that to the bottom and see what we can find. So we've got some really good looking stuff here. All this gravel, lots of fines, got bedrock all around, back to here. So there's a little pocket in there. We'll get to the bottom of that and see what we got to run through the river sluice. Well, there we go. That's one bucket full. We'll go and process that. Let's see how we go. How you going over there, Mandy?
Yeah.
Doing any good? I see gold.
I see it too. Yep. Right there.
Yep. I see gold. I see gold. There you go.
I see that from frickin' here.
There's 2 specks. 2 specks of gold in the first pan. I think that's bigger than our last nugget.
Definitely.
Well guys, that's pretty exciting. There's definitely gold in this creek. That's why you test pan and you don't waste anything. Can you see that? Can you see that? There's two specks. There's one there and one there. See how everything else moves in the pan when you swirl it, but they don't move, apart from your rocks of course. Two specks of gold in the first pan. Woo-hoo! Might have to get the snuffer bottle, Mandy, and suck them up so we can get some more.
I know, right?
So this is it. Little 888 river sluice from Goldratt Engineering. Based in Brisbane, I think. So we'll set that up, show you how that works. First time using it, so bit of trial and error. But it's got to be easier and less back breaking than using the pan. Perfect.
Wow.
Just sprinkle it on the black stuff just there. Pan that last little bit anyway. Yep. See all the little holes are filled up with the heavier sands and stuff, but that's the idea, that the little gold settles in there, so it's working. But you can imagine how easy it'd be if that was set up in a creek with running water. So while that's not the ideal way of using the river sluice, it's designed to put in the creek when the creek's running. You set that up and it's just got a constant flow of water over it like that, but because of your FOSSICKING laws in Queensland, under your permit, your licence, you can't use pumps or anything electrical, so we're just trying the bucket out really to give it a go and just see how it works, which it is trapping the heavier stuff in there. I can't see any gold in there, but pull that mat out now and pan it and just see what we've got. So it means one pan versus about 4 or 5 pans what was in that bucket, so hopefully it makes life a little bit easier. If you had running water, it'd be a lot easier. We'll do a full clean up, take the mats out and then just pan that little bit. Do it in a bucket, might be easier. Looks like it. You soon see when the water flows over it if it moves. Looks like it. Sure does. The gold monster found gold. There's your nugget. Suck it up, buttercup. So Mandy's got a first bit of gold in the pan. How good. The sluice works. Just panned out what was in the mat. If you can see that. 1, 2 tiny specks of gold. Out of the Goldratt 888 river sluice. What do you say, Mandy? Better suck it up and get some more.
Better suck it up and get some more, Brad.
All right, let's see how we went. A bit of a final clean up in a clean pan with a bit of clean water. What do you reckon, about 8-10 bits? Oh, look at them all. Oh, there's a few there. There we go. After a couple of hours in the creek, gold. Oh, it might be 16 degrees with a wind chill. I reckon it feels like under 10 degrees. But for a couple of hours down in the creek panning, we've done alright with 11 little specks of gold. Happy days. And that's the biggest pieces we've found yet panning in the creek. Now hopefully we can get out with the detectors and find a bigger piece. Can you imagine how hard the old timers would have done it back in 1860 or thereabouts, chipping away, looking for gold in the search of striking it rich? How hard times were back then, and long days of going prospecting and fossicking for finding nothing. Very hard times. To now have a go at the setups that we have now for glamping in the goldfields. Caravans, refrigeration, hot water, toilets, showers, air conditioning, all the mod cons, modern technology with the detectors, and best of all, like I said, refrigeration for cold beer. All of these luxuries that the old timers didn't have back then. How hard would it have been? And it's truly a privilege to be out there detecting in the goldfields in this day and age. So it's our last morning out here, private property, where we've been prospecting and fossicking the last few days with a few little specks out of the creek in the pans there yesterday. But today it's time to get serious. We've come to another site that we're going to have a look at with some old mine shafts and get serious with the detectors. All the gears set up so that we can jump the gate here, still on the same property, but just over in there there's some real good looking country, so we're going to check that out. And there's a few other shafts heading up the hill here. We're just going to have a look around in this area, and hopefully today's the day we can find that nugget. I'll be happy with even just a little one. Time to find the shine, Manny?
Time to find the shine.
Find the shine. Well, we'll grab the gear and we'll head over. Tag along for the ride, guys, and hopefully you can witness us finding our first nugget. Alright, choose your weapon. Oh, still got that wind chill. Oh, it's a beautiful 8 degrees out here this morning. It's warmed up to about 12, but the wind chill off of these westerly winds, whew, takes your breath away. But hopefully we'll be busy digging soon enough, breaking up a sweat and finding these gold nuggets. Have a look at this country here, and this is an old shaft. I don't know if it's actually filled in, but in solid rock. You imagine digging through that back in the day with your pick, your shovel, your crowbar. That is unreal. Solid rock. But hopefully that is the gold bearing country, and they wouldn't have been digging a hole there for no reason. I don't know how many other detectors have been on this, because not a lot of people know it's here. Oh, I've got a target. The worst part about digging around these old mines is the old miners. There's lots of alfoil everywhere, from whether they wrap their lunch in it or whatever, or cigarette packets. Sometimes it'll just keep pulling up alfoil, but you also get a lot of old nails, bits of wire, staples and stuff out of their old boots or whatever. But it could also be that gold nugget. Let's hope. Alright, we've dug it up out of the hole. we got here? I don't know what it is. I think it's just a bit of metal of some sort. That's it. If only that was a tiny little piece of gold, we would be laughing. But it's not the right colour. It's definitely a bit of metal of some sort. There we go. Oh well, that's one. And we don't throw the rubbish back in the ground for somebody else to find. We'll take that with us and add it to the collection of junk and move on to the next one. But after we fill our hole in. There we go. Let's find the next one. So in these diggings, back in the day, they didn't have metal detectors and all the rest of it. They would have dug that out, I'd imagine, and then processed it or got the finer material and then went down to the creek or whatever and panned it out in their rocker boxes and whatever else. So you imagine how much gold is potentially left behind in all of this mullock heaps and everything around these old shafts. So that's what we're looking for. But as well as any possible gold that might be in here, there's also all the old junk. But it's all part of the fun. Something in there right up against that rock. Now look at the quartz in that rock. It's gold country. What could it be? I think it's a bit more metal like that. That could be a bit of metal off of their pick or their shovel from back in the day. It's definitely not gold. You can see by the colour of it, and it's got a bit of weight to it, but it ain't gold. How good is this algo force detector? Whatever it is it's picking up is like dust, but I think that's it there. Tiniest little speck of steel. That's it. So that could have been a tiny piece of gold, but it's just a bit of steel of some sort. One of the old diggers has probably lost the tip off his pick back in 1860. One tip when you're working around the edge of an open mine shaft, be careful, you know where it is, don't take a step back. You don't want to end up in there. Big chunk of rusty steel. That one's not going to fit in the bottle. Straight in the bag. If only that was a 1 gram nugget. Alright guys, we'll leave you to it for a bit. We'll keep working this hole over and we'll catch up once we're heading up the hill. Well, time gets away when you're out in the paddock detecting. Good 3 or 4 hours there around all the old mine sites. We didn't even get into the other paddock to start exploring more mine shafts up there. But after all that, no gold to be found, but half a bottle of junk. Old bits of steel, rivets, lead shot, you name it, we found it. It's in there. But I must say, for anybody that's into detecting, I'm very impressed with the Algo Force E1500. So sensitive on the small stuff. Some of those tiny little specks of steel that we found, I imagine it'll be just as sensitive if that was tiny little specks of gold. But yeah, I can't believe how good that machine is over the gold monster, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But in the highly mineralised soils out here, it's just too hard, too sensitive to try and balance it, and it's always going off its head and hard to tell when it's going off whether it's a signal or just another hot rock. So the PI machine, definitely a good investment, and that's the cheaper end of the scale. Like I said, just under $3,000 for that setup compared to up to $10,000 for your other Mine Lab proper PI machines. And there's others sort of mid-range there which will do a good job as well. But if you're on a budget and want to get into gold detecting, great machine that. I would recommend it. Anyway, we're going to head back to camp and just have a look at a couple other little things on the way back. And the wind's picking up again, so we'll go back and make sure everything's tied down, not blown away, and by then it'll be time to crank the fire up. And that brings us to the end of another weekend away, or 4 or 5 days we've had out here in the goldfields. Has been absolutely amazing. This morning was a bit fresh at 0 degrees, a bit of ice around, a bit of frost. We had the fire going again one last time, but unfortunately all good things come to an end. Until next time, and we will be back out here and we'll be able to give you a bit more information on this property, which, like I said at the beginning, we have been here before, but at this point in time we'll just call it private property. But it is still open to camping, and we'll put the details in the description below. If you want to call the owner, you will be able to make a booking, come out here, check out this massive camping area, lots of sites scattered everywhere, true bush camping. Now, you do only have toilets here, and that's a bonus. It's very cheap per person per night. And you can spread out all through this massive area. There's other areas over near a dam, and then you've got acres and acres of exploring, fossicking, and get down in the creek, get some gold like we did. You could spend hours, spend days out here and still not see it all. If you're into true bush camping, guys, you've got to come and have a look at this place. It is just amazing, and it's so quiet, and yet you're only half an hour from Warwick. So we'll end it here. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you give us the big thumbs up, hit that like button, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Thank you to all our subscribers and our supporters, our followers on Facebook and Instagram. And we will catch you all again very shortly on the next Brandyscape adventure. If you've liked this video, please check these other ones popping up on the screen now for all our previous adventures, how-tos, tips and tricks. And we'll see you again soon. Stay safe, guys. Take care.